with Team Fortress 2 becoming free-to-play recently, I have seen quite a few people who come in to the game not knowing too much about first-person shooters in general, but specifically not knowing much about Team Fortress. So I've decided to throw together this little series, How to Play Team Fortress 2. I'll say right away I don't claim to be an expert in this field, but I am fairly competent in the game, as I hope my past Team Fortress 2 videos have shown. So I thought I'd try to put something together that's helpful to the new players and maybe interesting for people who know more about the game anyway, just for entertainment value, tips and tricks they may not have thought about, things like that. So in this first video, I'm going to go over the bare bones basics, assuming you've never ever played a first-person shooter of any kind before. So let's move right along here to the first screen. When you first get into the game, boom, here you go, opening menu. Now, to get into a game, there's a few different possibilities here. You could just click the Play Now button at the top, but that has more limited options. It's a bit random. You choose what game type you want, capture points, attack, defend, payload, things like that, and it will find you a random good connection to a game type like that. You can't choose how many players are in it, you can't choose any of those details. If you want to do that, you go to Browse Servers. Now, here there's quite a bit, and it's a bit hard to understand, but eventually you kind of pick up on what the tags in the end mean, what you do or do not want. Most of the time, just the bare bones basics is the best way to play. And then you can sort by map, you can sort by game type, you can sort by number of players, you can sort by whether or not it has a password, whether or not it allows you to record replays, all that kind of fun stuff. So, really cool. You can also click this little Friends tab up here and just hop right in with any friends who are online and playing at the moment. So, there's also, there's this button right here, Create Servers. You don't want to mess with that. I don't know if it works, and even if it does, you probably need to do some port forwarding and stuff. I've never gotten it to work the way I wanted it to. So, usually you're best off finding people who have already played it, or looking up their wiki articles on how to create a Team Fortress 2 server. So let's get right on in this thing. I got this pre-recorded video here, so I can narrate over the top, and here we go. So when we first get in, here's the welcome screen. It'll be different for every game, depending on whether it's a dedicated, like, official server or something that someone just threw together. It tells you the maps that are in rotation, things about the server, all that sort of stuff. Continue, and you come to this, some details about the game and the game type. There's also a small video that will come down most of the time when you're new to a map that will explain exactly how the map works and what the game type is and how that functions. It'll have little video clips kind of demonstrating that. So that's very helpful. And so here I go, getting confused about why there's no video. I forgot there isn't one for this specific map. But okay, here we go. So this is the team select screen. You can choose from random, red, blue, or spectate. So here we go. In just a minute, I will select spectate. I need to stop pausing this video where I don't need to. Anyway, spectate allows you to watch the game without actually being a part of it. Unless certain options are on, it won't let you speak to the other player. So it's not like you can watch and give tips to your friends or whatever like that. You actually have to be in the game to do stuff like that. So here we go, backing out. I'm going to join Team Red here. Alright, and after a little bit of finagling there, let's go Pyro. Now, oh my god, what is all of this? There is so much on the screen. Well, if you know anything about first-person shooters, some of this may be second nature to you, but let me go over the important details here. Where all that text is, that's the chat. You press Y to chat, press U to chat specifically with your team. So that's where that shows up. Also some details about the server in general, who's joining what teams, who's getting in, all that sort of stuff. Below that is your health and your class. It will always show a picture of your class, or in the case of spies, the class you're disguised as. Over to the right of that in the center is the list of capture points on the map you're on. This may change depending on what type of game you're on. If it's a capture the flag type match, it'll show you the status of the various flags, and also where they are. You can actually find specifically where flags are, so if they've been dropped or if someone has it, you can find a way there. To the right of that is your ammo count, and for certain other classes and their specific weapons, you will also have a recharge bar there. or sometimes it's something else. Engineers have metal, things like that. Mostly, it is your ammo. That's what's most important. Above that, when you first start the game, you will have a small readout there that tells you what weapons you have. Everyone has at least 3. Certain classes have a few more, such as the engineer with his PDA for building things, or the spy for his disguise kit. Also stuff like that. There is always a main weapon, a secondary weapon, and a melee weapon. In this case, I have a bunch of like unlockable type things, but you'll start with defaults and find more as you go along. Continuing the circle around, we have the clock up at the top that tells you how much time you have left in the match. Or, in this case, we're in setup mode, so meant to go before the game itself actually starts. This is the time when the defenders, in this case the team I'm on, has time to set up sentries, get to good defensible positions, all that sort of stuff. And then one more over in the top left corner there is achievements that you're watching. You probably won't have any right off the bat unless you've gotten right into the achievements and started setting a few up to be watched for future reference. Also, right there will be your buildings. If you're an engineer, it will show you the status of everything you've built, whether or not you've built them. And if you're a spy, it will also show you how well your sapper is doing. Okay, so with those basics out of the way, let's move on here. As with most first-person shooters, the mouse looks, WSA and D is moving around, and the mouse wheel is choosing your weapon. With the default settings, you'll have to scroll to select and then click to actually choose that. Then left-clicking again is attacking. Simple enough. There are certain weapons that do use right-click, but in the basics, you don't have to worry about that too much. I will get into the details there as it becomes needed. Spacebar is jump, control is crouch. These are all really basic first-person shooters. If you played any before, you'll know this. If not, it's best to learn now. Spacebar is jump, control is crouch. It's almost always that way. You can also taunt with the G key. I've changed it to F. That's a little easier to reach for me, but it's default G. And that is just something to show your opponents that you're better than them. And every weapon has their own taunt. Some don't have any, but most of the time they'll all have their own little default taunt. At least every slot has a taunt. Getting a little off topic here. So here is, there. When the match is starting, siren goes off, people come blaring out of their areas, and you go to town, wiping the floor with their asses. So I'll use time here to watch just how awesome I am, and then after that I will go on to the more important details. Yeah, I'm awesome. Okay, so there comes a time in every person's life when they get a little too excited, and they run forward like this, and they go jumping around where they, as their class, shouldn't be, and they make a stupid decision, and they die. Well, when that happens, you'll notice in the top right, you are notified of who kills who and when with what. And if you're the person who was unfortunate enough to die, it will zoom in on your killer. In this case, it's the sentry gun of Poopy Joe. Wonderful. If I were killed by an actual person, say the engineer himself with a shotgun, it would have zoomed in on them as opposed to his sentry gun. But yes, it tells you the details. Who killed you. Occasionally it will tell you with what, if they still have it out, their health, all that sort of stuff. And then, you wait there, look humiliated. They'll probably have taunted you because you're such a noob. You get a bit of time to spectate, and then boom, back right in the game. Nothing lost. All wonderful. So, those are the basics of how a Team Fortress match of any kind works. There's just the simple controls, how you switch weapons, how you fire, how you move. Other than that, the main differences are the classes. Even the game types, which are somewhat varied, don't change it up too much. It's all about which classes do what and which ones are best against each other. So, that's all for this video, I think, and I will see you next time when I go over the details of the Scout. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I said that twice. Well, damn it. Hey again, folks, I forgot a small thing. Pretty easy to gloss over, actually, and I'm sure people playing don't even know about this, whether they've been playing for a while or not. But there are some advanced options you may want to have a look at. Let me see my list here. I don't have any prepared video for this, but this should work well enough. Specifically, there is Retain Weapon on Death. There is an option in the menus where, if you die, the weapon you had out when you died will be in your hands when you get back. Not a big change, but I like it. Makes it easier for me in certain cases. There's also the most important one on this entire thing. Do not underestimate this, the medic auto-heal option. If you scroll down, it is listed specifically as a medic option. What it is you just click once on an ally, and your medic gun will automatically heal them. I'll go into details about how that works, but it is very important to have this on, so that if you are playing as a medic, you don't have to keep your mouse button held down to be healing someone. You will lock on, and that person will be healed until they leave your range, or get killed, or something like that. Then you just click to choose the next person. So that's a very important one to have on. Another one, I was not a big fan of it, but it is very common to use this one, is the auto-reload option. This means anytime you are not firing, your gun will be reloading itself for you. For me, it kind of got in the way, because the reload animation will stop you from firing on certain weapons, such as the rocket launcher or the shotguns. So you'll be firing, and you stop for a moment, and your gun goes to reload itself, and suddenly you can't defend yourself. So, certain people swear by it, but I am not a big fan, so try it out, make your own decision. There is also the Spy Concise menu option. It's in the same general area as the medic auto heal. Actually, I'm doing these a little out of order, but what this does is it actually cuts down the spy cloaking menu, where normally you press 1 through 9 to select your class or 0 for random. It will cut it down to 1 through 4, choosing either random or the offense, defense, and support roles. Then you press 1 through 3 again to choose which specific class you'd like to play. I found this a little too, took it a little too long. I'm used to, hit 4 to go to the cloak thing, hit 6 to disguise as engineer, something like that. But if you want to not have to reach any farther than the 4 key, that might work out pretty well for you. Finally, this is actually my favorite option, is the play sound on damaged enemy option. I think the wording's a little different than that, but essentially what it does is, anytime you actually inflict damage on your enemy, it will make this loud ding noise, which you probably heard on my pyro video, the first one. And I like this because you'll know, as, say, the pyro or anyone else with a damage over time weapon, how long the person you've hit is going to be taking damage. You can hear it ticking off as they take each individual hit. Now, it's kind of loud, and if you light like 8 people on fire, you hear this constant ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding, as you probably heard. It can get a little grating, but say, for example, you're using the flare gun, and there's a sniper across this large ravine, and you look out, and poof, you fire, and you slip behind the wall, and you can't see them. Now, normally you'd have no clue unless you looked around and saw them on fire and risked getting your headshot off again. But with the play sound on enemy damage option, you'll immediately hear this dinging noise that will tell you not only did you light the person on fire, but they're still burning. It's also good for melee combat, where normally you can't be completely sure, other than maybe some blood splatter, if you've hit the enemy. It will play the sound if you actually manage to connect, and so that makes it much easier to tell whether you should keep trying to hit them with your melee weapon or back off and use something different. There are a few other options. Be sure to look through the advanced options menu there, down in the bottom center on the main menu. But yeah, these are the ones that I think are most important. So yeah, sorry about this little popping up after the fact, but yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.